Another big peace deal happening at Trump's White House, this time between two countries you rarely hear about. All the more baffling you don't hear about the conflict between these countries because it involves the genocide of Christian Armenians. But of course, big lie media hates covering such stories. The White House hosted Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan and Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev today. They came together to sign a U.S.-brokered peace agreement that could end decades of conflict over a long-fought-over zone, Nagorno-Karabakh, a mountainous, landlocked region in the South Caucasus that has been the subject of a long-running territorial and ethnic conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan. A key feature of the deal grants the United States exclusive development rights over a transit corridor dubbed the Trump Route for international peace and prosperity, running through Armenia and linking Turkey to Azerbaijan and Central Asia. This obviously has massive geopolitical ramifications. U.S. officials say the project will integrate Armenia more firmly into the U.S. sphere while offering strategic protection and economic opportunity. Critics, however, including the Armenian National Committee of America, argue the deal rewards Azerbaijan's ethnic cleansing of Nagorno-Karabakh, undermines Armenia's sovereignty, and fails to secure justice, the return of refugees, or protection of lingering Armenian claims. So what is going on here and why this is and should be an important topic for U.S. foreign policy? Our next guest is an expert on Armenian policy and history. He's the president of Global ARM, Timothy Jemal. Timothy, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. Give us some context here. Where do you assess the deal today and how it affects the region and U.S. policy at large?
All right, thanks for having me again. Let's talk about the positive development that's happening today. What the Trump administration has accomplished with this agreement to the agreement, the framework for peace, is more than has been accomplished over all other administrations, Democratic or Republican, over the last 30 years. So the president's involvement, Secretary of State, their involvement, what they have essentially done is told Ilham Aliyev, Azerbaijan's dictator, that violence is no longer accepted, that negotiations happen at the table, and that there will be a just and lasting peace. Now, we have a ways to go, and you alluded to that in your introduction. But the fact that that Ilham Aliyev, Azerbaijan's strongman leader, has responded each instance with violence against Armenians, has actually humiliated the United States when they've told them not to use violence. And in this case, the Trump administration is not going to be played like the Biden administration. The Biden administration told Aliyev, don't attack Nagorno-Karabakh, don't ethnically cleanse Nagorno-Karabakh, don't destroy Armenian Christian churches and monasteries. He continued to do that. And the Trump administration has come in and said, those days are over. So on that side, this is a huge development. I give the administration lots of credit for engaging and taking the leadership on this, where the Biden administration, frankly, failed.
Well, and the rest of the world, I mean, where the United States stands on these foreign policy matters, the rest of the world often follows. And it was appalling how little this conflict was covered and how much cover was given to Azerbaijan for all these years.
There's no question. I mean, the Azerbaijan, what they did is fostered a narrative in the media, both in print and television, social media, that they were the victims of Armenian aggression, when in fact it was quite the contrary. It was Armenians of Nagorno-Karabakh, an historically Armenian territory dating back centuries that has hundreds of Armenian churches and monasteries and cultural sites, and I've been there many times, that somehow the Armenians who had sought their self-determination nonviolently to either be independent or align with Armenia, and Azerbaijan responded with violence, aggression, hate, demeaning rhetoric towards Armenians, and that continued and culminated in 2020 when they attacked Nagorno-Karabakh using help from resources from Turkey. They recruited jihadist mercenaries from Turkey and go into Nagorno-Karabakh and Chanel, not just kill Armenians, but to behead them, to provide them bounties for beheading, to mutilate and torture soldiers. To in 2022, they attacked Armenia itself. They captured a defenseless Armenian female soldier. They butchered her. They mutilated her. They cut off her fingers and digits, stuffed them in her mouth, and then they paraded it on social media. And then they created this grotesque trophy park in Baku, which is the capital of Azerbaijan, a trophy of all the Armenian victims. And so there's a lot of positive of what's going on today, and that is the Trump administration and President Trump, again, they deserve a lot of credit for taking violence off the table. And this route you're talking about, the Trump International Peace and Prosperity trip, I mean, this is a very strategic part of the world, southern Armenia. And I want to say that there's a joint venture that's going to be developed between the Republic of Armenia and the United States, but this is under Armenian sovereignty. The Azerbaijanis like to say it's somehow.
Talk to us.
Go ahead.
Zoom out a little bit about this route. Talk to us about how geopolitically this affects Russia, Iran, and Turkey. Each of those countries are affected by what's happening today. Give us some context there.
So if you look at the map, you look at geography, and you see where Armenia is in the geopolitical spectrum, it's really at the center of what's the former Silk Road. And so this route, which will transit the goods movement from Eurasia through southern Armenia, through Turkey, and Turkey has blockaded Armenia. Turkey has to stop this blockade. Turkey needs to open the border so that these goods can move from Eurasia through Armenia, through Turkey to Europe. And that's a huge blow to Russia. Armenia does not share a border with Russia. And as long as Turkey and Azerbaijan have blockaded Armenia, Armenia is forced to look elsewhere to engage in international trade and imports and exports. So they have to trade with Iran. They have to trade with Russia. And so this route opens it up completely. This is a historical shift that Armenia has been trying to emerge from Russia's shadow for the last few years. Russia has betrayed Armenia over and over and over again. Thousands of lives have been lost. And so in this instance, the United States, being the key partner in here that's going to take goods from Eurasia to Europe, I mean, it's massive, Chanel. I mean, it's one of the most significant geopolitical shifts, not only politically, but economically in decades. And the fact that American companies are going to be involved in the development of this transit route through southern Armenia, one, it's going to benefit American companies to be involved there. But two, it also enhances the security of the region, that especially of Armenia, because I think Ilham Aliyev would be making a disastrous mistake if he tried to attack the Trump peace route. And he's threatened to do so up until today.
Timothy, this story is such I guess, a profound reminder that something as primitive sounding as trade routes are still so incredibly important in modern geopolitics. In this day and age, you'd think trade routes are no longer as important in a globalized, digitized society. But this story and this deal highlights that we are still in an age where something as simple and primitive as a trade route can change everything. Timothy, thank you. No, go ahead.
And supply chains. You look at we need a resilient, secure supply chain as well. I mean, that's what a trade route is. It's a supply chain that moves goods from one country to another. And it has to be secure. Just I don't know if I have 30 seconds just to say this, that there's still work to be done. And we are working directly with the Trump administration on issues that are still outstanding, because you can't have a durable and just peace without justice. Azerbaijan occupies 200 square kilometers of Armenia. They need to get out of Armenia. They currently detain Armenian political prisoners. I mean, they do these despicable sham trials where they, where they parade Armenians into a phony courtroom and sentence them with trumped-up charges. They need to be released. And then we're working with Congress right now to introduce what's called trigger sanctions. And that means if Ilham Aliyev and Azerbaijan attack Armenia, that there's going to be a world of hurt imposed not only on their leadership, but their state-owned entities. So those are things, and then the Armenians who were ethnically cleansed, who you referenced earlier, they have to be able to go back to their homeland of Nagorno-Karabakh. So those are the things we're working on right now.
Lots of road ahead, but as you said, this is a good step, one that very few administrations were willing to take in past. Timothy Jemal of Global ARM, thank you very much for putting all that into context.
Thanks, Chanel, for having me.
Coming up, a Louisiana woman bought a Lamborghini while claiming government benefits for years. This story just gets more and more bizarre. Louisiana AG Liz Murrell is here to tell us a little more. We'll be right back.